Netanyahu prepares for a new offensive in Gaza, a critical step in a prolonged conflict. As tensions in the region escalate, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has announced plans for a new military offensive in Gaza, a move that comes amid increasing calls for a ceasefire and humanitarian aid from the UN Security Council. This decision, while controversial, is framed by Netanyahu as a necessary action to defeat Hamas and secure the safe release of hostages taken during recent hostilities. Netanyahu expressed after a recent meeting with his security cabinet that he anticipates completing this latest offensive fairly quickly. He claims that his only viable option is to take control of Gaza City, where he aims to dismantle Hamas's remaining strongholds. He emphasized that the urgency stems from Hamas's refusal to disarm, a condition he insists must be met for lasting peace. Witnesses report that Israel's airstrikes on Gaza City intensified late Sunday, claiming at least 5 lives at a local sandwich shop in the Sabra neighborhood, according to officials at Shifa Hospital. Alarmingly, Palestinian media highlighted that a missile struck a tent housing journalists near the hospital, resulting in additional casualties. Shifa Hospital's director, Mohammed Abu Salamia, revealed that at least 7 people lost their lives there during the strikes. The Gaza media office, governed by Hamas, reported that among those killed were 5 staff members from Al Jazeera, including journalists Anas al-Sharif and Mohammed Kreke, along with 3 photojournalists. They also mentioned that the 5th victim was an auxiliary driver. The Israeli military claimed to have targeted al-Sharif, asserting he led a Hamas cell disguised as a journalist, a claim that has been met with skepticism and calls for evidence from UN representatives. In conversations following these events, Netanyahu communicated with U.S. President Donald Trump regarding Israel's operation aimed at gaining control over the last remaining Hamas strongholds in Gaza. Netanyahu defended the offensive by saying that action is required because of Hamas's refusals to lay down arms, asserting that his plan is not intended to occupy Gaza indefinitely. He reiterated, "We aim to create a security buffer along our border, but our intent is not to remain in Gaza long term." Despite Netanyahu's assurances, concerns have mounted regarding the implications of further military actions in the densely populated Gaza Strip. The Israeli military chief has expressed hesitance about a full occupation, cautioning that expanding the military offensive could jeopardize the lives of hostages held by Hamas, while potentially embroiling Israeli troops in prolonged guerrilla conflicts. The city, which was home to over 1 million residents before the ongoing conflict, is increasingly transformed under the pressures of warfare and humanitarian crises. The humanitarian catastrophe has attracted global concern. Adding to the unease, European representatives at the United Nations have warned that a humanitarian disaster is unfolding in Gaza, stating that the violence and military strategy employed by Israel will exacerbate the already dire situation. Their joint statement emphasized that expanding military operations could lead to further civilian casualties and increased suffering for those still in Gaza, including hostages. This situation is described as a man-made crisis, demanding urgent intervention to prevent starvation and increase the flow of humanitarian assistance. Concerns regarding rising malnutrition rates underscores the severe restrictions placed on aid by Israeli authorities, a claim Israel vehemently disputes, attributing the humanitarian woes to Hamas. In a sobering turn of events, Gaza's health ministry reported that additional deaths due to starvation, including those of 2 children, have occurred, raising the total count to 217 fatalities attributed to malnutrition. In stark contrast, humanitarian efforts have increasingly resorted to delivering aid via aerial drops, with the unfortunate reality that attempts to assist have sometimes turned deadly, as demonstrated by a recent incident where a parachuted aid box killed a 14-year-old boy. The ongoing conflict ignited on October 7, 2023, has led to a staggering toll, with Israeli officials stating that their offensive has claimed over 61,000 Palestinian lives and devastated large areas of the territory. As we navigate this complex landscape of conflict, how do you view the balance between military necessity and humanitarian concerns? Is there a viable path towards peace, or are we watching an escalating cycle of violence? Your thoughts and opinions are welcome in the comments below. This rewrite clarifies some earlier points, ensuring accurate attribution regarding the Gaza Media Office, and specifies roles among the journalists.